Well, hello everyone. It's a Geezer once again. We're in the bunker. It's the practice bunker at Sanford. And I wanted to do a little video because it rained a lot last night and this sand is very wet. So I want to talk about hitting out of the wet sand or hitting out of the sand in general and what's different about hitting out of wet sand. So we're going to talk about how to hold the club, learn to hit the ground. It's very similar to my last video where I talked about hitting the ground in a certain place. And in this case, we're going to need to hit behind the ball instead of in front of it. That's why we need to control where we hit the ground. You can practice by putting a line down. Just put a line down and practice hitting the line right on the line. The good thing about sand shots is you don't have to be that perfect. You get somewhere very near it, it works. So let's talk about what happens when we hit a sand shot. I see a lot of people trying to hit a very shallow swing like you want to do off the ground when you hit a bunker shot. And it can be done, but it's difficult because with a shallow swing, it's more difficult to hit the ground or the sand where you want to hit it. If you come in a little more steeply downward, it's easier to hit sand where you want to hit it. So that's how I do it. It's the old way from back in when I was younger. They teach all kinds of different ways now, but this is how I do it. So we want to open the face just a little, slightly, so that when you set up to your shot, the leading edge, if you drew a line, it would kind of go towards your lead toe. Then we want to take our grip. We don't want to just roll our hands open because when we swing, it's going to tend to come back square. So we want to open the club, then take our grip so that when we swing, it comes back to that same place, which is open on the club face. So then we're going to set up with the ball nearer to the front, and we're going to hit the sand about, for me, about 4 inches behind is safe. I don't vary the distance behind the ball I hit to change the distance of the shot. I just vary how much swing I take. If I pick 4 inches and I miss it by two closer to the ball, it still hits the sand. It doesn't scream it over the green into trouble. If I hit 2 inches farther back, it'll still come out. It just comes out shorter and it rolls more. So it's a pretty safe about 4 inches. So again, we're going to swing. We're going to point the club where we want the ball to go. The club is never going to hit the ball. The sand is going to push it out. So all we need to do is spray some sand up onto the green and hit behind where the ball is. The ball rides out on the sand. It's pretty simple. Sounds easy, but people have a lot of trouble with it because they have this subconscious thing that they need to flick it up and help it out, and they blade the ball into the lip or way over the green, and it doesn't even take a lot of swing speed to get through it. We want the bottom of the club to hit the sand first, not the leading edge. We want this part to hit the sand. It's kind of like slapping the sand with the back of your club as it's coming downwards, and that's what that makes that sound. We may not get that sound in this wet sand today, but that's what makes that sound on TV. They talk. That's what makes that sound they talk about on TV. That thump sound. It's the back of that club hitting the sand. Thump. So let's go through it. We're gonna open the face, take our grip, lay the ball nearer to the front so that it's easier to hit the ground back here. This is where your club wants to bottom out anyway, back here. So let's just help it by putting the ball up in front. We want to take the club back and not inside and not level or slow. We want to take it a little bit out and a little bit high. And we just hit that sand right behind the ball and let the sand spread up onto the green. I missed. So it looked pretty easy, huh? I didn't have to swing hard. There was no special swing. It's the same swing we always make with our hands ahead. I just manipulated where my body is pointed so that my swing goes out here, which is in line with where my body is aimed. So that's a key. When you have your club face pointed toward the hole, you can't swing in line with your club face. You need to swing in line with your feet and your body. So now what's the difference between dry sand and wet sand? It depends on if the sand has been worked or not when it's wet. This sand has been worked, and it's very similar to dry sand. It just takes a little bit more swing to get the ball to the same distance. If you're playing in a wet sand that has not been worked by machinery or a good rake, and I mean rake down in the sand, not just scrape over the top. If you're playing in that, the ball is going to come out a lot faster. It's going to take a lot less swing to get it to go the same distance. So that's the main two differences in the wet sand is, again, if it's worked very nicely like this bunker is, it's going to take just a little more swing. There's going to be a little more resistance in the sand because it's wet. But if it hasn't been worked, it's going to come out fast because your club is not going to want to go down into the sand as well. So keep that in mind, but the technique is the same. Unless you get a very, very hard packed sand, then we would square the face up and allow it to dig, because if we hit it in hard packed sand with this technique, hitting the sand with the bottom of our club is going to cause it to bounce up into the ball because the sand is hard. So we want it to dig in that case. But today we're just talking about nice, good worked sand. Let's try this one more time. We're going to take our grip with the club open, play it towards the front foot. Look at the spot you want to hit the ground. I see in a lot of instruction that I do, people look at the ball and they put the club right up against the ball, and they're covering up the spot that they should be looking at, which is here. If that's where you want to hit the sand, that's where you should be looking. So we want to take it again in line with our body and a little up. Not too hard of a swing. Stay relaxed. Up and down. Another good one. That's about 3 feet. So you would, with some practice, you would start learning how much swing you need for different speeds. But if you'll work on this technique with small ones first, you'll get the hang of the technique, and then you can start working on how much swing you need to get the ball farther. I don't usually vary how much I open it unless it's a really long shot, and then in that case, I would get a different club. If I have, say, a 25 or 30 yard bunker shot, I'll probably use a gap wedge. It works exactly the same. And some of those shots that are like 50, 60 yards, we have a bunker on our 18th hole that's about 40 yards short of the green. And if I go in there, I actually hit this same shot with a 9-iron. They all work the same. So let the club do the work. One more time, we're going to take it back, play it up towards the front. We're going to look at this spot right here that I'm going to make a line. We're going to look at that spot. We're not going to cover it up. I don't want to put my club here and then go back and have to find that spot. I want to be looking at it before I take my backswing. So we're going to swing in line with our feet, take it up abruptly. It's really easy if you do this technique like I'm showing you. So I hope this can help you. And while we're at it, I'm going to show you how to hit a buried shot. So for this shot, the buried lie or the fried egg, you would usually be up closer to the front of the bunker, though it does happen back in the middle sometime. I'm going to just step on that ball. I felt pretty firm. Maybe the sand didn't get worked that well right there. Let me go down here. Yeah. So that ball is sitting down. I hope the camera can show you. I've only got about 1/3 or less of the ball above the level of the sand. Now this is totally different. We're not going to open the face. We are going to swing straight at the hole, and we are going to play it back in the stance. So we're still going to hit about 4 inches behind it, and we're not even going to try to follow through. We're just going to chop down in the sand and stop. The hardest part about this shot is hitting it easy enough. We see it buried in our mind, says, well, we got to kill this thing to get it out and swing up, help it out. You don't. Again, the sand is going to push it out. So if you understand what happens when the club hits the sand gathers up and it goes that way and the ball comes with it. Okay, so let's see what happens here. We're going to keep the club face square, and we want the club to dig into the sand. So we're going to just swing behind it and basically just chop it right into the sand behind the ball. Direction wasn't great, but it came out pretty easily. Let's try that again. Step on it. Saw how easily it came out though. We don't have to kill it. So get in a bunker somewhere and practice this. And it's even easier in dry sand. That one's really buried. I've never seen one like this when I play golf, and I want to see if it comes out. Let's just see what happens. My human nature said I need to hit this one harder than I did the others because it was a buried one. Look what happened, it went longer. So it was exactly the same. So again, all we're doing is spraying the sand out on the green and the ball comes with it. Pretty simple. So again, all we're doing is spraying sand onto the green like this, and the ball rides out on the sand. So we don't hit the ball, and it's not a hard swing. If you'll get in a bunker and practice this some, you'll find out how easy it is. Then all you'll have to learn is how much swing do you need, because I'll guarantee you the first few times you do this correctly, you're going to hit the ball way too far because you swing too hard. I know I did. So there's one more situation in a bunker that I wanted to talk to you about. You ever have your ball just barely roll into the bunker and it's still on the downhill slope, and you've got a lip in front of you and it's just really tough? What do you do? What can you do? Especially if the flag is reasonably close. I'll show you how I do this. It's very similar to the other normal shot, except for a couple things. We're going to have to open it a lot more to counteract the downhillness of this lie. We have a downhill lie. I hope the camera can show you that. It's not severe, but it's enough that it makes the shot very difficult. So we need to open the club quite a bit more. Turn your grip, turn the club, then take your grip. And for this shot, we're going to have to play it off our back foot instead of our front foot. So because we have the club so much open to counteract this downhillness, it'll come out in a similar trajectory as the other ones we hit. But we're going to need a lot more swing to propel the ball onto the green because the club face is so open. But the key is you've got to swing along with the downhillness. So we've got to swing down and not up, not try to help it. Resist that subconscious urge to swing up and help it up. The key here is your follow through has to be going down, even lower than the impact of the sand. So it's going to be like this, going even lower. So we're going to open the club a lot more than we did before to counteract the downhill lie and get the ball up. We have a nice lip to go over, so we've got to get it in the air. We're also going to play the ball toward our back foot instead of more toward our front, or at least the middle. We still want to hit the sand behind the ball, but the swing has to be really going downward, especially the second half after the ball's gone. The club has to continue going down. If we allow it to come up like this, we're going to thin that ball. We're going to blade it into the bunk, into the lip, or way over the green. So let's try this. Very open. Open the club, then take your grip. Play the ball more back. Lean with the heel. Look at the spot where you want to hit the ground, and make sure that your follow through goes through very low. We're going to swing very steeply up. We got it over the lip and within about 10 feet of the hole. Okay, one more try. Let's try that again. Okay, let's do that one more time. Very open. Ball toward the back. Swing very downward. Level yourself with the downhill. Swing downward. Another really good one. It's a tough shot, but I wanted to talk to you about it so that you have a way to try to play it, because otherwise you're just going to waste strokes, at least one, if not more, trying to get it out of this bunker or screaming it way over. So that'll be it for today. So for now, this is Geezer Tony signing off. Till next time.